Hello everyone, welcome. It's Lee with Lee's Trees. Today we're going to do a trim and a repot on our Bald Cypress air layer. And I believe this is what I was calling the front. And we'll move around to what would be the left side, then the back, then the right side, and back to the front. Now when I first removed this tree as an air layer a year or more ago, I think it was about a year and a half ago, I put it into a standard training pot. Not a standard training pot, I'm sorry. I put it into a nursery style pot for a little bit before putting it into this beautiful Elizabeth Crutendon pot that you see it in at the moment. However, if you know bald cypresses, you know they grow roots really rapidly, and it is already filled up this pot to the point that I had to put the stones on here to hold it down. I did not wire the tree in. I've got a piece of brick there. And unfortunately, several months ago, last year, I came home one day and this had gotten blown out by the wind. You can see how easy it is when it has a big canopy, how it would be easy to get blown over. So we're going to be remedying that situation today. And unfortunately, this pot is getting a bit too small. As much as I love it, it is getting too small for this tree. So we're going to be putting it into a mica training pot I've got set up. But first, we'll do a little trim. And for that, I'm going to move you in a little closer here. And I can see there's a little bud starting to swell pointing out that direction. So that's where I'm going to cut that to. Where is, since I've got a little bit of a stub here, we will clean that up. Now I've got a couple branches over top of each other here, and I'm going to take the top one out. And this lower one, you can see it extended pretty good. Let me see where I've got a bud at. Well, we'll just cut it back to here. It looks like there's a bud there. It might grow in a crazy direction, but we'll see what happens. This branch here, I don't know if I could really pull that down much with wire. Maybe I could. I think this one in the back is a little bit too thick for the ramification. It's actually a little thicker than some of those down there. So let's take that whole one off. I might be able to put a piece of wire on that. We'll look at it in a little bit. Now I'm curious as to this little piece here as to if it's still alive or not. And actually looks like there might be a couple buds right there. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And since I have several coming from the top here, I'm going to take this one out, because I was going to try to keep this as somewhat of a flat top, as a really small show hen flat top bald cypress. I know that's going to be difficult the way they want to grow up, but I do like how this branch is coming straight out for our flat top look. Actually, let me come in here and clean that up a little more if I can. So I'm going to keep that one. And I'm trying to see, okay, so right here, it looks like there might be a couple buds that are going to go sideways. So we'll cut it right there. And that also makes this branch in the way. And I think this little one in the back, since I've got a couple coming from here, we're going to take the older one, or should I take the newer one? Actually, I'll leave the old one and take the new one. Again, because of the ramification. Cut that whole piece off. There. And now, of course, we have the big leader that's in the way and not looking the way we want it to. So now we just have this one little one here that we need to deal with. And again, it looks like right here, there's a couple little buds that we're going to want to go sideways, so I'm going to cut that right there. And let me see if I put this piece of wire here and put a couple tiny twists. I want to come up over that since I want to pull it down. Just very carefully put a couple twists on it. Put one more twist or two here just to anchor that. Now we'll cut that piece of wire and cut that piece of wire. And maybe we can get that one to come down a little bit. We got that one to come down. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I've got a back branch. I've got these three. I know these two are coming from the same area, but again, as far for a flat top, that's somewhat of what we want. So now let's get to the repotting, and we will get started with that in a few moments once we get our setup for the dirty work. Give a little bit of a look at our carnage cam so far. So I've adjusted the camera angle and got set up for our dirty work. I don't have my big tray since I'm not working on a really large piece today. So we'll set that off to the side for a moment and get started on the tree here. And this is also one of the trees I was having some problems with over the summer last year and fall with the black slime mold. And I know that part of that is that when I potted it in the Elizabeth Crutenden pot, I left it in the original sphagnum moss from where that I did the air layer in. And of course that sphagnum moss holds a lot of moisture. And you can see just how much roots have really grown in just over a year. I think I'll try and put some pictures and dates before this of when I had started this. But we're going to need to do a major root prune on it as well as a cleanup, because I know I've got a few roots that are going in crazy directions. Chopstick in here and start getting some of that sphagnum moss broke up and out of there. And since we were having the issues with the black slime mold, we will not be reusing this soil. So I've got this one great big circling root here. That's one of the original ones from the air layer. Not that I don't have several that are circling. I think once we get rid of it, we can get to working on a lot of the rest of it. Okay. I think I've got what's coming off the main tree right there. Again, I've got a root that's just going around in circles here. So I'm actually going to pause here and take this outside and give it a rinse, and I'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back. And as you can see, I've given the tree a good wash, the roots a good wash. And while I was out there, I also sprayed it with some soap and water and vinegar mixture to try to treat the black slime mold issue in case any of it is still stuck in the sphagnum moss. That's what I've been using on some of the other trees, and it seems to be working to get rid of the black slime mold. A mixture of equal parts 5% white vinegar, equal parts water, and then adding a little bit of dish soap to it. So let's get started. And as you can see, I've got this one root that comes out and goes a crazy direction. However, it's got some others underneath of it coming from it that are going more radially. So we'll take that piece off. And we'll leave those down there. And of course, now that one's going as a little turn, but we'll start cutting these when they start making a turn here. Get that one out of there. Okay, so some of those, like that one comes out, turns, and then you can see there's another little root that's going to start going out in the opposite direction. Got a root a little high up there. We'll take that off. These two also look to be a bit high. Take both of those, and they're also going crazy. Uh-oh, that one took a lot of root off. That's okay. These root really, really well. And again, I know I've got this root that comes out and makes a crazy turn, but I'm afraid if I take it off now, I won't have much left. So I think I'm going to stop there, put the scissors down as they say, maybe take that little piece off. And next time we repot it, we can go in and take that off, and hopefully we'll have more stuff sprouting from over here. So let's get to our pot. I say I've got a round mica pot. I believe this is the 10-inch size. It's smaller than the one I used for the Dawn Redwood. And actually, let me take a moment, and I've got this big ball here where from the air layer, oh, you can see there's a bunch of sphagnum moss still stuck in there. So I don't want that in my pot. I am going to try and clean that up a little bit more. See if we can make it a little flatter. I'm going to come underneath those other pieces. That made a nice flat cut. All right, now I think if I just put one small piece of wire, it looks like I can use my tie-down wire for my drainage screen here to be big enough. If I put one little piece of wire in there, it'll catch those back roots and hold it right there. And actually, before we get our tree set in there, I want to do one other thing. So I grabbed my rooting hormone, and I'm going to just tap out a little bit on a piece of paper towel here so I don't cross-contaminate my bottle of rooting hormone. I don't need very much of it. I'll give my little paintbrush here. We'll just put a little water on that and grab our rooting hormone and make sure we treat the tree here. So we just take our paper towel with the rooting hormone. I was thinking of putting some sealant on this, but if I do that, then I don't get roots to grow from where I did the trim. And I might want to put some rooting hormone on that piece there. So let me grab a little bit more. So where I made that little cut, see if we can get some roots from that. It might help to maybe scar up the trunk a little bit, put a little, and actually I think I can lift that up a little bit more. I'm going to leave that right there for just a moment. Hope I can get those roots to stay down. Let's put some soil in there. I'm just worried that as I tighten on my wire to tie it down, it's just going to keep sinking it lower in the pot. And I want to keep some soil up underneath of it. I don't want to lose my wire tie piece there. Okay. I'm lifting up on the tree a little again because I want to try to get some soil under the tree, under the sheen. I've got one root coming up here. Let's see if we can dig away, push and hold it down and put some soil on top of it. That looks like that works. We can actually add just a little bit more. I think one more scoop will just about fill us up. So let me give it a little turn and just give this a tighten or two. I did end up accidentally turning it the wrong or the opposite direction. That's okay. We'll just push the wire down in there a little and cover it over. And there we have our Bald Cypress, our air layer, in a mica training pot. Give it another couple years and let it fill up with roots, and then go back and trim off some of the bad ones again and do another root prune. And of course over the next several months we'll be trimming the branches as they grow in. We'll give you another final look at it here in just a moment. And here we have a final look at our Bald Cypress air layer. And there's our front, around to the right side, to the back, to the left side, and back to the front. We're going to take it outside, give it a really good watering. I am also going to add a little bit of my mycorrhiza here, of course. Make sure to put it actually in the back here where the roots are. And give that a good watering. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Here we are. It's been a couple of months. Today is May 17th. This is our Bald Cypress air layer. We'll give it a quick spin for you. This is the front here at the moment. To the right side, to the back, to the left side, back to the front. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.